Hey everyone, Facebook, LinkedIn, social media community. I'm Arif Gilany. I have here my friend Alf, and we're watching a live presentation on Zoom that I'm going to record for you here. Afterwards, we'll be back to discuss, to address any concerns you may have. So stay till end of this presentation and enjoy this incredible opportunity.
Well, a very good afternoon, good evening to some of you, and possibly for some others, it's a very good morning. We're going to kick off tonight's presentation. I see people have their hands up, so I can't do that because this is a Zoom room. So maybe you're just saying hello. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if our panelists tonight can control the room or whether that's required. But first of all, I'd just like to welcome all of you to tonight's call. We have a great number of you on tonight from all around the world. I'm just going to take a quick look at the guest list, if you don't mind, before I get started, and that might help me or guide me. Okay, yeah, I see Adam's on. I think that's Adam from Croatia. Welcome to the call. I see Gloria's on. Hi, Gloria. You're up in Canada right now, I believe. Adiola's in. Adrian's in. Why is Gloria at the top? Let me go through this list. AJ's in the room. Arif's, of course, in the room. Why not? He's doing some fabulous work out there also up in Canada. Alpha D, Andy Butterell's in. We've got lots of A's in. I speak. Ava is here too. South Africa's in the house. And then we go to B's. We've got Barry and Baba and Barth and BB and Beth and Brad. I'm not going to go through them all, through the whole alphabet. But anyway, let's go to the end of the list and see who we've got at the end of the alphabet, just for interest's sake. Need to move this thing here. Aha, he's there again. Zoom users here. Have any of you ever seen Zoom user? iPhone comes and I always see iPhone. They don't have their name, and Zoom user is our last member on the list tonight. But we've also got Vince here and Victor Abadi's here as well. We've got user Charlie in the call. User's iPhone. So down at the bottom of my list tonight, lots at the bottom of the table as well. So anyway, let's get the recording started. Let's get our presentation underway. Thank you, everybody. And a warm welcome to our new guests, as I said, those of you that are here for the first or second time. Gloria, if you could take your hand down, please, because these things come up on the screen every time you touch your device. So let me go and hit the record button, and let's get started.
Recording in progress.
Well, thank you all for watching this Zoom. You may be watching a live Zoom, or you may be watching a recording of this. Whatever which way, please do get back to the person that shared this information with you. Thank them at least for the opportunity to see the fabulous platform that we're going to share with you today. And if it is for you, get their referral link and get started as soon as you possibly can, after, of course, you've done your due diligence. Now, I do not work for this company myself. I'm just an independent affiliate, maybe just like the person that's inviting you here tonight. I'm not a financial advisor either. I'm not an accountant. I can't give you any advice in that respect. I'm not qualified to do so. It wouldn't be fair. I'm only going to share with you my experiences, my information, the products I've used. And of course, it's up to you to do your own due diligence. Of course, I'm going to share you some of the due diligence I've done. But of course, you should seek professional advice, regardless of what business. If you're going to open a gymnasium, go and speak to people in that industry, in that business. Understand what you're getting involved in. If it's cryptocurrency, you need to speak to experts. If it's finance, you need to speak to a financial expert, etc., etc. So it's always prudent to do your homework, to do your due diligence, and to seek professional advice. That would be my recommendation. First thing I wanted to know was not how much money I can make, not what the product was. I wanted to know who's behind this company, who's involved, who's the CEO, who's the directors, who's the shareholders or founders. I wanted to get into the nuts and bolts of who's behind this. I was very pleasantly surprised to find that Brian Benson is the co-founder, one of the co-founders, and also the acting CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Brian Benson is from Southern California. He's went to school in, it was San Diego University. When he left university, he went straight into the banking industry, and he became a trader at Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley is a very, very reputable banking institution from the United States, and there he became a very successful trader. He learned a lot about technology, but he left the banking industry and went into a whole different field. He went into Web3, cryptocurrency, and he got involved with Binance, and he was very successful here too. And at Binance, he became the director for Latin America. That meant this man was responsible for doing all the due diligence, for doing all the compliance and regulatory matters, for opening these different markets, different languages, obviously from California, English speaking, but he has multiple languages, this gentleman, and was able to open the Mexican market, the Brazilian market, the Chile, the Peru, what was it, Peru, Colombia, a massive continent, and to be director of Latin America is a great achievement. And that gave me a lot of confidence when I realized we're dealing with someone that has experience. We're not dealing with some kid that's trying to create something, or we're dealing with a man that has experience. Brian presently is 51 years old, to my knowledge. So he's I suppose he's got he's not an old man, he's not a young man, he's mid-range, and has a lot of experience from Binance, which is very, very important. Binance came, I suppose, from nowhere. In 1 year, it became known as a unicorn company, faster than Tesla, faster than Microsoft, faster than Apple. Binance just came from nowhere into a multi-billion-dollar company. And the growth in that phase when Brian was involved was sensational. Onboarding millions and millions of customers in South America, onboarding millions of dollars. That in itself was a challenge for Binance. And for this man to operate at that level gave me a lot of confidence. If he's steering this ship, at least we have somebody that's been, it's not his first rodeo, as somebody would put it to me. He's been here in this type of industry before. Now, I decided to Google the gentleman. I hope he doesn't mind. I'd never heard of him before. I'm sure you might not have heard of him if you're new to this. So I went to Google and I typed in his name. Remember, if you're going to do this yourself, type in B-R-Y-A-N, Brian Binance, Brian Benson from Binance. So when I went to Google, I typed in his name, and then I typed in images. And if you see here, I clicked the images and I could see, wow, this is the same gentleman. And he was all over Google. And that was fantastic news because he's a real person. He's not an actor. He is the Brian Benson from Binance. We found out that he was doing Zooms on the Binance platform. We see him here with the Binance shirt on, the Binance t-shirt on. We see young images, old images. This guy is well known. There's been many interviews with him. And you can see the Binance logo, but also you can see, more importantly, the Aurum logo, because now he's the CEO. And that's why he left Binance, because there he was an employee. Here he's a co-founder and the CEO. He's at the top of the tree, not halfway up the ranking ladder. And that was the first bit of homework I did on him. And then I realized that Forbes, which is a reputable magazine and also a reputable media company, many of you have heard of Forbes Rich List. They do the top 100 richest people in the world, or maybe the top 20 richest people in the United States, or the 50 richest people in Asia. And they formulate a lot of data. They collate all of this data to work out who's the rich lists. And they do a lot of due diligence and homework to get their facts right. It was very interesting to note that they'd written an article that included Aurum, saying that Aurum provides institutional grade trading. When I saw this from a reputable media company, because I saw some negative stuff from non-reputable companies, but when I see this from Forbes magazine, that was the second piece that gave me a lot of confidence. And the third piece that really made my mind up was Visa. So what you see, if you can see me on the screen, some of you probably only see the slides, but I'm showing a Aurum Visa card. And what you should note is it's co-branding. It's Aurum and Visa. on the same piece of plastic. Now, the issuer of Visa, the banks, the issuers of these cards obviously had to do their due diligence on Brian Benson as well. They had to know who the company is. They had to supply all their company data, their registration forms, their licenses. All of that would have to be provided to the Visa issuer before they would accredit them to allow them to perform on this Visa card. So that again gave me a lot of confidence. And this is something we want to feature in our presentation tonight. This is a sensational piece of product. We all know how to use one of these. But the interesting thing about this one is it's cryptocurrency on it. It's USDT. And you can spend this anywhere where Visa and MasterCard are accepted. In fact, if you've got any USDT in other exchanges or platforms or wallets not in use, you can pop them into your Aurum account and then send them up onto your Visa card and start spending without having to go and find somebody who's going to convert it into your national currency. This guy is going to be a big part of our business going forward. I then found out that Brian had written articles on the Forbes Finance Council. He wrote a great article there about fixing money because money, as we know it, is broken. The present financial world we're in is broken since as far back as 1971. It used to be to print dollars into circulation, you had to have a equal amount of gold bullion in the vault, in the safe, before you could print the money. In 1971, that relationship between the physical gold and the paper dollar was broken. It was severed. And therefore, it allowed the Federal Reserves, it allowed central banks around the world to start printing money. It's incredible. President Mugabe fell foul to it. His country went into hyperinflation and destroyed that currency. I think Venezuela had the same problem, and many countries are having that problem where they just keep printing money. Particularly in COVID times, there was billions and billions and billions of dollars just printed out of thin air with no backing at all. And Brian talks about, if you could fix money with technology, what's he talking about? He's talking about blockchain. Why? Because blockchain is a digital ledger. It cannot be changed or altered. It's factual. It's honest. It's got integrity. For instance, with Bitcoin, there's only 21 million Bitcoins. There will never be 22 million or 23. You can't create more. So a fixed supply is a proper way to hold the money. And really, if we think about it, Bitcoin is the digital gold version that we have now. And if you can fix the money with technology, fix it with AI, then you can fix the world. So an interesting article there. Having done that, I decided to go meet the gentleman. And I have friends on this call as well have also, even recently, have gone over to the Aurum offices to meet the staff, to see what's going on there. But I had the pleasure, many of you on this call also had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Brian Benson. I spent 3 days with him. We had breakfast 2 mornings. We had morning coffees. We had lunch. We had evening meals. And we asked lots and lots and lots of questions. And I came away very, very satisfied, obviously. And we got started with Aurum. But what I'd like you to do now is listen very, very carefully to what this gentleman says. Whether you have a great product or a great company, you also need a visionary leader to follow. You need an iconic person that has a mission, that has a goal. And this is who we're following. We're following a gentleman that wants to recreate what he's previously done. What he did for finance, he wants to do it here again for Aurum. He wants to create a unicorn company. He wants to create $1 billion brand, and he wants to create 1,000 millionaires. Isn't that interesting? He wants to create 1,000 millionaires. If you had been one of the early adopters of Bitcoin, or even in the early Binance days, you're getting the BNB token. Brian told me himself that when he worked with Binance, he wasn't paid in dollars. He was paid in BNB token. That's how he got paid, and he had to convert it to dollars because nobody wanted BNB. BNB was the gas fee for the Binance exchange. It was 8 cents, and he got thousands and thousands and thousands of these at 8 cents. And started converting them to get what he knew as money. And of course, look at the BNB token today. It's gone from 8 cents to $800 possibly. Massive growth. And the Aurum token, which should launch in around the launching time of the exchanges, we're going to talk about for Aurum. That has the potential in the future as well to do very, very, very well. So have a listen to what Brian says. Listen clearly. Listen to his statements here.
I think if I have to sum it up in one word, it's ecosystem. at Aurum, we're building an ecosystem, and we're really trying to focus on getting this thing to a unicorn status. And what I like to say is we want to create 1,000 billionaires. And so if we can do that, then that will be a $1 billion business. That will be a unicorn, and we'll be very excited if we can accomplish that. And we're well on our way to that. So
there you go. That's just part of the larger interview that he did. But just to hear that $1 billion business and a unicorn company create 1,000 millionaires, he's well on the way to do it. That's the leader who we're following. Now, to get involved with the Aurum Foundation platform is just a fee of $19.99, just less than $20 for the entire year. That allows you to use any or all of their products except this Visa card, because you have to order this, you have to pay for the issuance of this card. So there will be no monthly fees. It's just $20 for the whole year. Think about a gymnasium membership. What would that cost for a year? Or think about a golf course membership. What would that cost for a year? Here, you can use nearly all of the products, 6 or 7 different products, at your own will, at your own pace, for this minimum $20. And this keeps, to a degree, this opportunity very, very compliant. I learned that certainly in the Western world, and to be compliant in some of the Western countries, you cannot get paid for recruiting people into a business. If you do, that raises a flag. If you were to entice me or introduce me to a program and you got paid for that, you're being incentivized to recruit me, and that's a no-no in some countries. Maybe not your country, but in some countries. But what Aurum have decided to do is when you recruit someone to the platform, you don't get paid. You don't get any money for bringing people on, for signing them up. The $20 stays with Aurum. That's used for paying staff, for paying customer support, for your server fees, because you're going to use the platform in and out every day. That costs money. And if they put on 1 million customers, there's $20 million. If they put on 100 million customers, well, what's that? $2 billion. All of that annual fee keeps the company fluid, keeps the company strong, and therefore they don't need to rely on other avenues of revenue to support the company. So this in itself, I thought, was a great thing. It's $20 to get started. Now, of course, if one of your customers decided to use a product, well, at least they're ordering a product, and then you do get paid. But certainly on the subscription, on getting started, introducing people, we don't pay anybody for that. So that's just a note to take on that. Now, let's talk about some of the products. They have 6 or 7. I'm only going to talk about 2 or 3 because I'm only happy to talk about products that I'm presently using. I will not refer other products that I haven't tried yet because I don't know enough about them. No different than you cannot promote a restaurant to me if you haven't eaten in it, if you haven't tried the food, if you don't know who the chef is, if you've never been in the restaurant. It's not a great recommendation. So I will only share with you products that I've used and enjoyed myself. My favorite product is on the screen. It's called the EXAI Bot. It has trading history going back to, I think it was February 2023. But up until June this year, it had conjured up about just less than $23 million trading in the fund. And its performance was over 460% in those 2 short years. Now, when I saw that, I went, wow, 460%. That beats property. That beats real estate. Real estate typically grows the right property in the right location. You could probably expect about 10% maximum on real estate, 10% a year. So in 10 years, your property would double. That would be typical in good selective properties. If you get involved in gold, another great asset, gold bullion, whether it's 1 gram or 5 or 10 grams, and whether it's an ounce or a kilo, gold typically runs at about 10% a year, and therefore it would take approximately 10 years for gold to double in value. But to get 400% in 2 years is exceptional, guys. And I'm going to show you this product now. When we break down that 467%, we can see that at the beginning times, it was doing like 13%, 18%, 11, 15%, 9% was its worst monthly performance, 11%. It's up and down a little, but over here on the right-hand side, you'll see how it's smoothed out, how it's consistent, doing 17, 17, 19, 16, 18, 15, 16. Very, very, very consistent. That's because the AI has had time to mature. The AI has had time to learn, because when it started, it had no data, it had no history, it had no performance. So it had to rely on its execution of trades, on various situations happening in the market. It can now pull up those processes and make up to 10,000 decisions in a second. Like what happened at this time last year when the market did this and that happened. All of those things can be done very, very quickly when you use this AI technology. Of course, the bots are overseen by live traders. They're never left alone. And it's machine learning. It continually learns. It has every feed from every news channel in the planet. It has all the social media channels fed into the AI. It has all the exchanges, all their notes fed in as well. And it absorbs, it filters all of that before it makes a trade, before it makes a decision. It's also got, and by the way, this is spot trading. There's no future trading done here. It's spot trading. And it also, if there's not one live trader watching it or overseeing it when it's turned on, it'll be two. And it's not turned on 24/7. It's turned on at specific strategic points in a particular day. You'll probably only get about 5 or 6 trades a day. So now when we take those averages, it's probably averaging out at 17.5%, let's say, to the company. You don't get that. What you get is determined by what you decide to deposit your own bank account. So this is the new Aurum bank account, let's call it that. It's the Neo Bank, Neo meaning new bank. And you've probably noticed that banks in your town, your cities, around the world seem to be shutting down. They seem to be closing down, encouraging people to bank and use banking services online. You probably noticed that. I know in our town here, we had about 13 banks at one stage. Now we've got one. So this is your new, if you call it Neo Bank, your new online digital bank. And let's say you deposited $120. Well, it's going to fall into this first category, the basic category. You're going to enjoy profits of in around 10%. It's not fixed. It fluctuates slightly. But in around, this is an average of about 10% a month, which is very, very good. If you put in $170, it's going to be the same. If you put $230, it's going to be the same. But if you were able to manage more than that, let's say $412, you're going to fall into the higher category and enjoy 11%. Or let's call it $700, you'll still get that 11%. And of course, the more deposit or the higher you can lodge to your own account, then you can achieve these greater rewards. So I'm going to show you some accounts now coming up. A couple of questions I had on this when I was speaking to Brian Benson. I said, if you're paying out all this money, how do you guys make money? And they said the whole operational costs would be managed by the $20 commissions from the users, but that's non-commissionable. That's 100% to the company, and that's used for all the expenses, all the overhead. He says where they make their money is that if they're getting 17% and you're getting 10, they get the spread, they get the difference. They're making 7% on all of these customers. If you happen to be 11% customer, they're getting 6. If you're in the next category and you're getting 12%, they're getting 5. If you're in the next category, 13%, they're getting 4. This was important because we want to have a company that's fluid. We want to have a company that's strong and that's making profit. And therefore, the bulk of the customer base is probably going to be in the region of $100 deposits up to about $499. Would you agree? Do you think that'll be the bulk of the client base? Somewhere in that zone. And therefore, the company's making great profits. Now, the larger customers get closer to the main profit. But there's going to be fewer of the larger type depositors at the moment. So there you go. That's a little bit about the EXI bot. Let me show you a live account. Now, I call this the 12-month success plan. Why? Because I don't think you can make money overnight. You know, it's not a lottery. It's not, it takes time for things to mature like property and gold and any investment. Even your pension, it took you 40 years paying into a pension to have a reserve for retirement. So I think of a very short-term plan, like 12 months is what you need to be thinking about if you're serious about this. And if you make your deposit, you go to financial proposals on the dashboard. You click the EXI bot, and then you top up your account, and you send that deposit to work. It goes to the exchange, and there are trades, and every day you can take out your money. Every single day you can take out your profit, unless you decide to compound. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's say you get $100 in and you made $10. You can choose to add the $10 to the 100 that you have. So therefore, tomorrow's trading, you have 110 working instead of just 100. So you have a choice. When you do take an account, it's not compounding. The money goes to your wallet every day to withdraw, but you have to opt in by clicking this little slide button. You see that where it says the reinvest button. It's up to you to remember to turn that on if you wish to compound, to get the power of compound. I'm going to show you an account now how it works. This account ending in 4 digits 1972 commenced on the 10th of April this year. It was started with $10,000 as an example. And if we look at where the red arrow is on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll note that this synopsis from this account was on the 16th of May. So from the 10th of April to the 16th of May. What you should know is that this account has done 23% in 5 weeks. 23% in 5 weeks, because the 10,000 is showing here at $12,360 after 5 short weeks. So let's follow this account and see how it's done. The next time it was screenshotted just for data for ourselves to have a look at was on the 24th of June. Look on the right-hand side at 1:38 on the 24th of June. It is the same account ending in 1972. It is the same start date, 10th of April. Look what's in the account now, guys. 15,500. So from the 10th of April to the 24th of June is exactly 10 weeks. And the account has achieved 55%. Now imagine you buying a house in your neighborhood and it went up 55% in 10 weeks. What kind of an investment would that be in real estate? It doesn't really happen, does it? And here, I mean, when you buy a house, you're committed to a bank, you're committed to mortgage payments, you're committed to rental customers. If you're not going to use the house yourself, you're committed to payments and finance. Here, you don't need any finance. If you have $100, you trade for $100. If you have 140, it's 140. If it's 10,000, it's 10,000. You do what you wish and where you fit in. Now, let's take a next look at it. We're looking now at the 10th of July. Okay, so from the 10th of July, when we take from the 10th of April to the 10th of July, we're looking now at 12 weeks, 3 months, and the account has jumped all the way up to 17,471. The account was made 74% in a short 3-month period. And then last month, on the 10th of August, you can see here in the top right, on the 10th of August, the account now has grown to $20,000, 392. It's actually done 103%. It has doubled in 4 months. Now, why has it doubled? Anybody know the answer? Because this customer has selected the reinvest button. Had he not pressed this button, it would have been less. He probably would have achieved about 15% a month, but you can see he was getting like 23. Probably would have got about 15%, 15%, 15%. That probably would have been about 16,000. Except for they from the beginning, they compounded it to get it up to double up. And I invite you all to come back on the 10th of September, 1 week from now, to see the update on this account, how it's gone from 20,000 where it is today. So we'll be able to share that this day next week. Okay, so that's the first product. It's called EXI Bot. It's exceptional. I really, really like that. Past performance is not indicative of future results because this is trading, but the results are exceptional. Even recently here, for last month, August results are in 18.32%. We learned that from the corporate Zoom today. Now, they have other products as well. They have one called EXI Pro Bot. They have another one called the Zeus Bot, but these are not on the platform. These are obtained through the Telegram channel. Telegram is a decentralized communication channel. Over there, you can also access these bots. A couple of rules, a couple of changes, guys. Number one, to use the EXI Pro Bot, which is USDT trading, you cannot deposit any more into the EXI Pro Bot than what you would have in the EXI Bot. What does that mean? Well, let's say you put $200 on the first product of the EXI Bot, and then you wanted to try this one over in Telegram. You couldn't put in 300. You cannot put in any more than what you have on the main platform. So you can only put up to the exact same amount. You can put in less, of course, but you can only put up to the same amount. The EXI Pro Bot doesn't perform just as well as the EXI, even though it says
that was the end of the presentation as Hugh Paul is explaining the upcoming trip that I think he forgot about it. If you want to know all about this, or if any of this information is familiar to you, perhaps you've been losing money in digital world in bitcoins, I recommend you get in touch with us after stopping the presentation. I think it continues as you can see on the screen, which I'm happy to because I'm commenting as he's speaking about the trip that is going to be incredible. This trip is happening on October 16 to 19. We are looking forward to going to Thailand and meeting all these people in person. And you can also join us any minute that you decide. Again, you want to think about it tonight,
It's
that's
ready
fine.
first memo.
If you want to go ahead and do it, this is your chance. We look forward to hearing from you and hanging out with you on the beaches of the world. And this is a real opportunity that you saw for yourself. Multiple people in the last 4 months have become digital nomads, and they are basically traveling the world, spending the money on the card, and enjoying their lives. And we are looking forward to following their footsteps. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Nice. Awesome.
Nice and awesome.
Yes,
Perfect.
coach.
Alf is here. We're wrapping it up. Alf, thanks for helping out. I hope we did a good recording. This is incredible. There's nothing else to say. Those who want to think it's okay. Those who want to get started, call me, Alf, call Raleigh, call somebody, man. You got to get this cleared up in your head. Thank you so much for watching this. This 1 hour of blowout time. I think you've never heard something like this before. I have not heard something as good as this. Raleigh?
Coach, I have my nurse who was looking after me for dialysis. I mentioned this. I shared her the video. She's highly interested, so she got on board. Meaning
I sent you.
she
That's prospecting. Your builder. Remember, John Bone said not everybody's a big builder. We're big builders. I will send you 3 minute videos. You make sure that you get those videos to her before you leave. That's it. It's gonna marinate on here. She gets all the messages from 3 minute recordings that I did on my phone. So
very
great
good.
job.
So what I wanted to point out was, and you gave me the answer. She wanted to know how to avail the credit card. I said it's a two-step process. First, she needs to be a member, set up the account, and then order the card separately, and that costs about $250 USDC.
Absolutely, you're right. And that card will hold your profits, even from the $100 to 100,000. You don't have to spend your original money ever again. You just
So
put something in
therefore,
there.
thank you. The next question is, she would send the 250 e-transfer to Arif because
We
you
could do that
mentioned you
once
would
she's
order
set up.
100
We will
cards.
we will make the arrangement. We will make the arrangement once she set up the account. Yes, we could
Or
do an
is it order
e-transfer.
in the back office? I figured it could be ordered at the back office.
Yes, it could be. The first step is the sign up so that she can get there, put her 100, and we can do that today if you like. If she wants to do it another day, we're okay with that too. But the card will come after. I'm 21 days. I'm 3 weeks into. I still don't have my card, but I'm ordering this week. As a matter of fact, the card and getting the promotion and getting other people like yourself promoted to the next level, which was the Voyager.
Very good. Looking forward to the promotion. It's exciting. But
Yes,
seeing
sir, it
my
is.
people
You
get
remember? So how many call and the call we're making 50,000 bonus? At least three, four, five of them that he mentioned were on the call that we're making because they got one lump sum account. Boom. That's it. You can make your own promotions here. Alf,
this
you're still with us. We're gonna close this out. We're going to 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 31 seconds. Thank you
okay.
so much for watching, everyone. See you next time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Again, mark your time. If it's Middle East, 8, 10, whatever hour you're watching, make sure UK 8 p.m. time will be live again tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Hi, Hortense.
See you.